My husband pressured me into pregnancy, ghosted me through every doctor visit, and when I asked him to feed our daughter, he gave up and moved away. Jack and I have been together for 6 years, and I am 7 months pregnant. He was a family friend, someone my aunt recommended to me. At first, I only went out with him to make her happy, but we ended up getting along really well and said I love you to each other in just a week of meeting, and the day we found out somehow made my heart even fuller. I was always scared of seeing the 2 pink lines, but in that moment I knew we had done the right thing. That same day, we spent the entire afternoon sitting on the couch flipping through a baby stuff catalog, lightly bickering over whether we wanted the cot to be pink or purple. We both had huge smiles on our faces, and I could practically feel the joy radiating from him. Or so I thought, because the very next day, not even 24 hours later, he completely switched up. In the morning, as we lay in bed together, I playfully asked what we should name our child. He didn't even look up from his phone. He just shrugged and said, "Dunno." Luckily, the hormones hadn't kicked in yet, so I was able to chalk it up to morning grouchiness. But as the weeks passed, things got worse. There was no single thing he said was crazy enough to make me think he didn't want this. It was more like dozens of moments that planted seeds of doubt that would all replay in my mind every single night. He didn't even repost the photo of the positive pregnancy test that I tagged him in, and he stopped posting photos of us too. Fair enough, I thought at first. Maybe he just didn't want to attract negative energy or jealousy. Oh, how wrong I was, because that's when the pregnancy hormones kicked in, and I began to spiral. I couldn't hold in my concerns anymore, but he'd just blame it on work burnout, or even better, a result of all his mental energy being put into chess. So as I threw up into the toilet each morning, there was no one holding my hair. As I lay awake in bed each night, completely exhausted but filled with insomnia, I should have been holding my husband's hand, but instead, I was wondering when he'd get home from hanging out with his friends. But the most painful memory isn't even a pregnancy symptom. It's me begging my husband to help me, to please just spend some time focusing on me. I would spend hours every day thinking about the right combination of words to finally convince him, but I was never successful. I remember one time, I was lying awake at 4 a.m. when he finally got home, and I expected him to ignore me, but instead he put a blanket over me and squeezed my hand before lying beside me and going on his phone. It was the most affection I had gotten in months, and it filled my entire body with butterflies. Like, a lot of butterflies. Enough for me to climb on top of him and kiss him. "Not today," he said under his breath, before lightly shoving me off him and turning off the light. That was the last time I tried to be intimate, because before that, the most he's given me is a hug. I didn't really have anyone to talk to because I didn't know any women who'd been pregnant, other than one, his sister, Sally. We were actually pretty close, so I figured it was okay to reach out. I started the call by saying I was pregnant, and she sounded surprised, like she hadn't heard it before. I asked if she already knew, and she promised she did, so I waved it off. She told me I should let him come to me and just give him some space. So I did, and that's when we went from a married couple to glorified roommates. And one day, as we silently sat across from each other, eating his favorite meal that I had cooked from scratch, he ripped my heart out of my chest. He told me that we had rushed into things, and I should terminate the pregnancy. I looked at him with tunnel vision, struggling to catch my breath. "Are you sure?" is all I managed to say, and he just nodded. We spent the entire night in complete silence, like, even more than usual. The next day, I brought it up at my prenatal support group. It was the first time I had talked about our issues, mainly because I was embarrassed. I thought it was my fault. They assured me it wasn't, and told me that there was probably an underlying cause. Perhaps he was protecting me from something that he didn't want me to know about while pregnant, like bad news or something. The new perspective filled me with a level of positivity that I hadn't felt since before getting pregnant, but immediately my joy crumbled, because that's when I got a text from Sally, his sister that I had called. She asked if I could call, and I said I could. She told me that she had just been at her mom's house, and Jack was there too. Sally then said one thing that explained it all. Jack was getting back together with his ex. The only reason he had been in a relationship with me was to prove to her that he could be loyal and monogamous with one woman at a time. And the reason he pushed for pregnancy was only to further prove his point to her. I immediately broke down. Jack, the man I wanted to marry, my baby daddy, my everything, saw me nothing more than a piece of evidence, a project, to win another woman over. I can't tell you how I confronted him in this short video. The full story is on my channel and linked below. That night, Jack came home late again. I was still sitting in the same spot on the couch, surrounded by used tissues. He didn't even ask what was wrong, just grabbed a beer from the fridge and headed toward the bedroom. That's when I finally found my voice. "I talked to Sally today," I said. He stopped walking but didn't turn around. "She told me about your ex, about how you've been using me this whole time." He finally turned around, his face completely blank. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," he said. "That's it. No denial, no apology. Just, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. Like that somehow made it better. How was it supposed to happen, Jack? Was I supposed to have this baby and then you'd leave us both for her?" My voice was surprisingly steady. He shrugged. "I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. 6 years together, and he didn't think that far ahead. I wanted to throw something at him. Instead, I asked, does she know